Ooh, I get a nice little update saying you're going to record me. I wasn't sure what that would look like on the phone. All right, well, Tactical Tuesday. Bryce, you're first up on my boxes. What do you got?
Yeah, so not a ton. Made just some progress on like the violin interview, and yesterday, this morning had a good just sync up with Quinn on like terms of what we've like how things have been going for all the Tyler stuff and like what we need to focus on next. It was good because I found that somehow I had like written a bunch of payments code that I had tested and it worked, that somehow got stashed. I found it in a git stash instead of on the in GitHub itself, and it took me a while to find that, but found it, and I'm trying to just merge that back in from, because it's like from 40 commits ago, so there are a lot of conflicts. Yeah, so I will that will be fixed soon. It was good to find that because it was like Quinn was like, I'm having trouble with the payment stuff, and I'm like looking at the code and I'm like, I wrote more than this. But yeah, so that'll be fixed, and then I'm going to try and focus on the rest of the day for the court scheduling stuff, which is talking to it and helped to at least help me wrap my mind about like what it actually is, because reading the Tyler documentation is very confusing. It's just very confusing. It just uses terms like return date, and I'm like, it doesn't really make any sense. But sort of Quinn found some good sources and was able to just explain things in a bit easier way. So I'm going to try and finish that probably maybe sometime tomorrow. And so that will all be, yeah. That's it for me.
All right, cool. Just chug along. We're getting there. We're getting there. All right, Michelle, you're next up on the boxes.
Next up. So one thing that I want to get to before I forget is just reminding that at some point we were going to talk about criminal records and expungement and sealing, and how that may or may not fit into whatever is going on next for the Lit Lab. So I don't know if y'all are ready for a conversation about that, but
probably not yet. So for context for other folks, Chris, the head of our Defenders Clinic, had expressed an interest in maybe doing something with expungement. So that might be a opportunity to connect with the folks from the Clean Slate or Clear Slate, or I can't remember which one it is. Clean Slate group over at Coding for Boston. But we're sort of in a holding pattern there. My prior comment was just that he had made the mention. I'm not sure we're ready to have that conversation, and I just wanted to flag that is a conversation that will happen at some point. My guess is that we wouldn't be because everything is at the pace of semesters, is that it's not a this semester discussion. It's a shortly before next semester discussion. So okay. Probably December.
Good to know. Good context. Another thing is working on some style stuff that may or may not help us with navigation menu thing. It's super fun and interesting to try and get a friggin', it's without changing the actual DOM to get the behavior we're looking for, and then also SVGs, which I haven't worked with in a while, and SVG editors. So, but that's good. That's moving along, and I can't do everything we wanted to do because there just aren't the hooks in the DOM for it. There just aren't the classes to hold on to for everything we want to do, but we can probably do a modified version of that, which seemed possibly sufficient. And some office hours. I don't know if this is appropriate for here. I mean, I assume we're doing stand up at the same time since this is 12:30. So
yeah, this is combined tactical and stand up.
So there was a student who came in and it looked like community lawyer was not like
Yeah, I saw the echo
not
of that. It
after
seemed like-
pattern.
yeah. That's probably, we should probably direct the student to ping the folks over on the after pattern Slack.
Yeah, because I mean, I couldn't, I haven't used after pattern much before, so maybe it was my ignorance, but it, even following the documented directions was not.
Yeah, I think that's something that we might have them ping the after pattern Slack folks about. Not
Okay.
that, but I mean, they're fine with where they need to be, because they just need to do like a little MVP sort of thing.
Okay.
So,
All right.
but yeah, for
Then-
context, there was a behavior in after pattern that wasn't working, and yeah, well, that's the context.
Yeah. And then just office hour stuff, and that's been fine and good and gotten stuff done, so it's cool. I guess off hours, office hours, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I think that's it for me, probably.
Cool. I'm done.
Oh, he said Quentin. I couldn't hear. I think you muted yourself quite before you'd finished it.
Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
I think Bryce covered most of what my morning was. But I met with Matt this morning too, and started triaging some stuff. Raised a couple of other minor questions. I'm adding a number formatter function to the toolbox. Actually, I'm just adding a parameter to the thousands function we already have, so that you can show decimals to handle more kinds of situations of forms that have that need where you have a dollar sign already, but you want to show it formatted like a dollar value. So I'm going to push that up. It should be really small. And one of the things we talked about with Matt a little bit more was the fact that we're basically building this general purpose EFSP interface that Illinois talked about wanting, and we were like, that's not really what we're going to try to build, but we're now having to just to get certified. So
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting point, isn't it?
Especially with the calendars service stuff, the fact that we have let people, that was something we didn't even think about or know that would have mattered, but we have to do it to get certified. So it doesn't seem like it's actually that big of a piece.
Nice little replace one landmine with another.
So there's no reason to hold up certification, but we should think more about meeting again with Illinois. Like they're trying to come up with the proposal to outsource that, and they might build their own EFS, but basically we've done 80% of the work that they would need for that. There's going to be some UX refinement, obviously. I don't think but we now have all the groundwork for what they need. So we should talk about that.
And was Matt at all involved with that? So, I'm just trying to figure out, do they know that?
Yeah. I mean, he's also said so the person who's involved with that is the administrative office of the trial court in Illinois, and that's Sarah Song. And I think they're already going to have some conversations. She's been talking with them about what our tests would need to look like.
Which I was just about to actually ask, because Matt made a question on the Teams that was asking me specifics of what the clerk reviewed during our testing, and I'm also a bit confused on when this testing should happen. I've been imagining it as post-certification testing, like post-certification, because I feel like that's just the minimum bar we need to do before we start bugging clerks about trying to help us out. And then once we have that, then it's just sort of pre-launch, some sort of a pre-launch sanity check, kind of like what we've been doing, a slow rollout with David Benton, in terms of giving the interview to him and checking a few times and being like, hey, we're sending all this stuff. Are you getting all the stuff that we actually sent? Because we can see it a bit. We can see that all the stuff that we've sent for Tyler, we can see what exactly we've sent, but it's less, we don't know exactly what they're gonna expect to see
Right.
on the clerk side. So I guess, does that does it make sense to just like, we should be doing this testing still on staging, but like post certification?
I think that makes sense. I think we want to get the certification as the bar we want to clear first.
Yeah.
Sense.
It doesn't mean we can't have conversations leading up, but I think if there's an ordering question around, like, we want to do everything we can to not put off certification.
Yes, yeah, agreed. Okay.
Does that sound right, Quentin? You're looking at.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. That makes sense. And then I assume we'll still have access to the staging site for doing other testing that we need to do as we're continuing to develop it, because they haven't.
That's what I'm,
Yeah,
yeah,
that.
that's what I'm also
Yeah.
assuming.
We should probably confirm that. That's probably
Yeah.
worth confirming, but we probably don't need to confirm that until we're initiating the certification.
I imagine that there's enough the clerks can do to kind of manage the process of filing that we could test in production if we have a cooperative clerk, but that's not what our ideal would be, obviously, if they can
Yes.
access the staging site.
And it sounded like from the stuff that the Mass Courts folks said, they mentioned something about their staging site. So
and the name is so generic, I imagine it's the same one that we share. We share the staging site with the clerks.
Yeah, that's well. My guess was my inference from that was just that they likely have a staging site that they have access to, and so yeah, it probably is the same site.
I'm sure. I'm almost be very surprising if it wasn't the same site.
I would be super surprised too. But
I mean we didn't keep access to it even. That would be especially surprising.
Yes. All right. Well, so that's good. Yeah, I had kind of forgotten that they wanted to do that. This timing is very good. Then they just talk to us, wait long enough, and then it gets built. A large chunk of it. Say no, we're not going to build that. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. We ended up having to build half of it.
It's a good way to feel like there's more value in everything that we built there, though.
Yeah, it is.
I'm really glad glad we hired you full time, Bryce, because one of our ideas was contractor. I can imagine like how far in would be into that thing per hour, because we were so off about the scope of what we're going to build.
It has been a lot. Glad to be here.
Yes, well, we're glad to have you. All right. Anything else?
I don't think so. Just working along on the admin interview, trying to make sure we can line up all the tests with what Tyler is going to, our functionality with everything that Tyler is going to test from what we know that they're going to test.
Cool. And then, okay, cool. My week was some paperwork, and we finally finished writing the trust document for Spot, which is some other thing I've been working on, and that went to the GC today. So that was an exciting milestone. Not really assembly line, but that's what's been taking up my time, and that's probably, Bryce, probably a good place we could stop recording, and then we can see what happens.
I don't know if Lisa has. I don't know if
Lisa
she's coming
popped
for
on here.
anything specific.
This is the problem.
Hey guys, I've had a shaky internet connection.
Yeah, I didn't see you because I'm on my phone, Lisa. Sorry. Please.
That's okay. Our internet's been shaky because, of everything to now Tropical Storm Nicholas. But anyway, the only thing, I guess, update I'd have to report that Bryce would be fully apprised of is that the Access to Justice program, the Louisiana State Bar, and a demo of some of the new coding work y'all are doing. And I know y'all know about that already. So it was nice that was shared with the various committees and commission members, subcommittees.
What we don't know is what you thought.
I think I had some initial feedback because I used a coder based out of Baton Rouge. I love the work you all do, but the initial feedback I have, and frankly, I'm gonna have to go through it more thoroughly, with a stable connection. The only thing I would have changed is it had a little bit of a fill in the blank look, the finished product, where it could be easily more seamless in a PDF, because some PDF programming, where folks go through the online interview and then the PDF
That's
really
probably
looks
a
like a
constraint.
seamless document.
Yeah, that's probably a court
So I think
constraint.
that's cleaning up for cosmetics and functionality, but frankly, if you're going to do it that way to the end user, it's going to be like, well, why can't I just type this in online? Because it looks the same basically.
Yeah, that's probably a court constraint, but
And it
yeah.
might not be. That was my only initial thought because they already do have typable, fillable PDFs and it kind of looks like that. But other than that, I thought it had, as I said, a generally clean look and like the interface is nice and I'd have to go through they did kind of a quick demo. Bryce, were you on that call? Were you there?
No, I have not been on.
Okay. I don't know if they record those. They do record them, but I'm not sure they share them. I believe they record them for the benefit of, archives and all, but I can see that. But I'll take another look at it. But that was my initial reaction to the end product, which may or may not be something y'all have control over. And it may rest with the guy who was working on it, I believe in Baton Rouge. So, but other than that, it looks like it's a great new tool.
Yeah, well, yeah, the thing we were, so just make sure we're talking about the same thing. It would have been the stuff that would have been demoed by Amanda.
Correct.
Is that? Yeah, okay.
Correct.
All right, cool.
Did I miss a demo?
Oh, this was in regards to the Louisiana stuff. So this was not a demo to us, a demo to folks in Louisiana. And it
Got it.
happens that, Lisa is there as well. So she caught it in another part of her
Great.
life.
Yeah, we're all in this web of, or cloud or whatever we are, the cosmic connection among all of us working on these projects. So
It's some type of graph.
Great. Love graphs.
All right.